First contact. Dr. Elena Sato squinted at her computer screen, her brow furrowed in concentration. The radio telescope data scrolling before her eyes was unlike anything she had seen in her 15 years at SETI. The signal was too regular, too precise to be natural. "Hey, Mike," she called out to her colleague. "Come take a look at this." Dr. Michael Chen rolled his chair over, his eyes widening as he absorbed the data. "Is that what I think it is?" Elena nodded, a mix of excitement and trepidation in her voice. "I think we just made first contact." Within hours, the discovery was verified and announced to the world. Humanity collectively held its breath as scientists worked tirelessly to decode the message embedded in the signal. It took weeks, but finally, they cracked it. The message was simple: we come in peace. Prepare for contact. As governments scrambled to form a unified response, strange objects appeared in Earth's orbit. Sleek, silver craft that defied known laws of physics. The aliens had arrived. They called themselves the Zarkon, a spacefaring empire spanning thousands of worlds across the galaxy. Their ambassador, a tall, slender being with iridescent skin and large, almond-shaped eyes, addressed the United Nations. "People of Earth," the translator conveyed, "we welcome you to the galactic community. We come to offer knowledge, trade, and alliance." The next few months were a whirlwind of cultural exchange and technological marvels. The Zarkon shared advancements in medicine, energy production, and space travel. Earth's scientists worked feverishly to understand and adapt these new technologies. But not everyone was convinced of the Zarkon's benevolence. Major Sarah Harper, a decorated Air Force pilot and part of Earth's first diplomatic mission to the Zarkon homeworld, couldn't shake a feeling of unease. "They're hiding something," she confided to Dr. Sato during a rare moment alone on the Zarkon ship. "Have you noticed how they always deflect questions about their military capabilities?" Elena nodded. "And they seem almost dismissive when we talk about our own technological achievements, like they're humoring children." Their suspicions were confirmed during a tour of the Zarkon capital. As they passed a group of military officials, Sarah and Elena's universal translators picked up a snatch of conversation never meant for human ears. "Primitives. Their world will make an excellent addition to the Empire." Sarah's blood ran cold. She caught Elena's eye, seeing her own horror reflected there. They had to warn Earth. But the Zarkon were always watching. It took weeks of careful planning before they could smuggle a message back to Earth's leaders, encrypted in what looked like routine scientific data. Back on Earth, the warning sparked furious debate. Some dismissed it as a misunderstanding or paranoia. Others advocated for immediate military action. In the end, a daring plan was hatched. Earth would continue to play the role of the naive, grateful, primitive civilization. But behind the scenes, every resource would be poured into defense and technological advancement. The Zarkon, convinced of their superiority, never noticed the subtle changes. They didn't realize that the simple modifications humans made to their gifted technology were actually ingenious improvements. They failed to recognize that the grateful smiles of Earth's leaders masked minds racing with strategic calculations. 6 months after first contact, humanity had secretly achieved breakthroughs that should have taken decades. Fusion reactors powered cities across the globe. Quantum computers cracked problems thought unsolvable. And in hidden shipyards beneath the ocean, and on the far side of the moon, a defense fleet took shape. The Zarkon, meanwhile, grew bolder in their true intentions. Their requests for resource rights on Earth became demands. Their military ships appeared in greater numbers, thinly veiled as protection. It all came to a head on a crisp autumn morning. Zarkon ships took up attack positions around the globe. Their supreme commander appeared on every screen on the planet. "People of Earth," the alien's voice boomed, no longer bothering with the pretense of friendship. "Your world now belongs to the Zarkon Empire. Surrender, and you may live as our subjects. Resist, and face annihilation." For a moment, the world held its breath. Then, from hidden bases and secret hangars, Earth's defense fleet rose to meet the threat. The Zarkon Supreme Commander's jaw dropped as state-of-the-art human ships, incorporating and improving upon Zarkon technology, took to the skies. Weapons of unimaginable power, refined from alien designs, powered up across the globe. Major Sarah Harper, now Admiral Harper, sat in the command chair of Earth's flagship, the EDS Defiant. A grim smile played across her lips as she opened a channel to the Zarkon fleet. "This is Admiral Sarah Harper of the Earth Defense Force," she announced, her voice steady and strong. "We reject your ultimatum. We are not your subjects. We are not primitive. We are humanity, and we stand ready to defend our home." As the Zarkon fleet opened fire, humanity revealed the full extent of their preparations. The battle for Earth had begun, and the galaxy was about to learn that appearances could be deceiving. Across the planet, in hidden bunkers and command centers, Earth's leaders watched the unfolding conflict with bated breath. Dr. Elena Sato, now the head of Earth's Xenotechnology Division, stood in the United Nations Command Center, her eyes fixed on the tactical displays. "It's working," she breathed, watching as Earth's ships held their own against the Zarkon fleet. "They really underestimated us." Beside her, the UN Secretary-General nodded gravely. "Let's hope it's enough. The fate of our world hangs in the balance." As the battle raged in orbit, humanity steeled itself for the fight of its life. The Zarkon had come expecting an easy conquest. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant, and the galaxy would never be the same. The ultimatum. The Zarkon Supreme Commander, Tarlak, paced the bridge of his flagship, his iridescent skin pulsing with barely contained rage. The battle for Earth wasn't proceeding as planned. These primitives, these humans, were putting up a fight that defied all expectations. "How is this possible?" he snarled at his tactical officer. "Their technology. It's on par with our own." The officer, visibly nervous, responded, "Supreme Commander, it appears the humans have not only adapted our technology, but improved upon it in ways we didn't anticipate." Zarlak's eyes narrowed. They had been deceived, played for fools by a species they had dismissed as primitive. But no matter. The Zarkon Empire had conquered thousands of worlds. This upstart Earth would fall like all the others. "Prepare the Worldbreaker," he commanded, his voice cold with determination. "If we cannot have this planet, no one will." On Earth, Admiral Sarah Harper stood before the United Earth Defense Council, her uniform bearing the scars of recent battle. The initial Zarkon assault had been repelled, but at a great cost. Cities lay in ruins, millions were displaced, and the orbital defense grid was operating at half capacity. "We've bloodied their nose," Sarah reported, her voice tight with exhaustion. "But this fight is far from over. Our intelligence suggests they're bringing in reinforcements." Dr. Elena Sato, now sporting a cybernetic eye, a replacement for the one lost in an attack on her research facility, stepped forward. "There's more," she said, her voice grim. "We've detected energy readings consistent with a planet-killing weapon. We're calling it the Worldbreaker." A hush fell over the council chamber. The Secretary-General, his face haggard from sleepless nights, broke the silence. "Options. We have 2 prototype ships," Sarah replied. "The Horizon and the Stormbreaker. They incorporate our latest advancements in Zarkon-derived technology. If we can get them close enough to the Worldbreaker." She left the sentence unfinished. Everyone understood the implications and the risk. As the council debated their next move, a transmission cut through all channels. Zarlak's face appeared on screens worldwide. "People of Earth," he began, his voice dripping with disdain, "your resistance, while admirable, is futile. Even now, our Worldbreaker approaches. You have 1 Earth rotation to surrender unconditionally. Refuse, and your world will be reduced to atoms." The transmission cut off, leaving a stunned silence in its wake. In the council chamber, The Secretary General turned to Sarah and Alina. It seems our options are limited. Admiral Harper, Dr. Sato, you have full authority. Save our world. As they left the chamber, Sarah turned to Alina. We need an edge, something they won't see coming. Alina's cybernetic eye whirred as she processed the problem. I might have an idea, she said slowly. But it's risky. We'll need to modify the Stormbreaker's drive core. If it works, we could hit them harder than they ever imagined. If it doesn't, we're dead anyway. Sarah finished. Do it. The next 24 hours were a blur of activity. As the world waited with bated breath, the crew of the Horizon and Stormbreaker prepared for what could be humanity's last stand. In a hidden hangar beneath the Pacific Ocean, Sarah stood before the assembled crews, men and women from every nation on Earth, the best and brightest humanity had to offer. I won't lie to you, she began, her voice carrying across the cavernous space. The odds are against us. The enemy we face has conquered entire galaxies. They see us as primitives, as easy prey. She paused, her eyes sweeping across the assembled faces. But they're wrong. In the few months since they arrived, we've achieved what they thought impossible. We've taken their technology and made it our own. We've united as a species in a way we never have before. And now, we're going to show them exactly what humanity is capable of. A cheer went up from the crews, a sound of defiance in the face of overwhelming odds. As the countdown to the Zarkon's deadline ticked away, the Horizon and Stormbreaker rose from the ocean, their advanced stealth systems rendering them invisible to Zarkon sensors. On the bridge of the Stormbreaker, Sarah settled into the command chair, Elena at the science station beside her. All systems operational, Elena reported. The modified drive core is stable. For now. Sarah nodded, keying the ship-wide comm. All hands, battle stations, we are green for Operation Slingshot. As the two ships accelerated out of Earth's atmosphere, the Zarkon fleet came into view. At its center loomed the Worldbreaker, a massive construct that seemed to devour the light around it. My God, Elena breathed. The energy readings from that thing. It really could destroy the planet. Sarah's jaw tightened. Not if we have anything to say about it. Helm, execute slingshot maneuver on my mark. The Horizon broke off, drawing the attention of the Zarkon fleet. Weapons fire lit up space as Earth's defenders engaged the alien armada. Now, Sarah commanded. The Stormbreaker's modified drive core hummed to life. Space itself seemed to bend around the ship as it accelerated to impossible speeds. On the Zarkon flagship, alarms blared. Xarlak watched in disbelief as a human vessel appeared from nowhere, moving faster than should be possible. Impossible, he muttered. Then, louder, all ships, focus fire on that vessel. But it was too late. The Stormbreaker, wreathed in the fire of its own acceleration, plowed through the Zarkon fleet. Smaller ships were vaporized instantly. Larger vessels, their shields overwhelmed, broke apart like toys. Sarah gritted her teeth against the G-forces, watching as they closed in on the Worldbreaker. Elena, status. Drive core is critical. Elena shouted over the ship's groaning hull. We've got seconds before it breaches. Helm, collision course with the Worldbreaker. All hands, abandon ship. As escape pods jettisoned from the Stormbreaker, the ship itself, now little more than a projectile of unimaginable energy, struck the Worldbreaker dead center. The explosion was visible from Earth, a new star briefly outshining the sun. When the light faded, the Worldbreaker was gone. Half the Zarkon fleet had been destroyed. The remainder, including Xarlak's flagship, hung motionless in space. On the bridge of the Horizon, now leading the charge of Earth's remaining forces, a battered but alive Sarah Harper opened a channel to the Zarkon. Command ship, this is Admiral Sarah Harper of Earth, she announced, her voice steady despite her exhaustion. Your Worldbreaker is destroyed. Your fleet is in ruins. You have one Earth rotation to surrender unconditionally. Refuse, and we'll show you exactly what else we're capable of. As the Zarkon flagship transmitted its surrender, cheers erupted across Earth. Against all odds, humanity had stood its ground. The Zarkon ultimatum had backfired spectacularly. But even as celebration broke out around the globe, Sarah and Elena exchanged grim looks. This wasn't the end. It was merely the beginning of a new chapter in human history, one that would take them to the stars and beyond. The battle for Earth. The surrender of the Zarkon flagship marked a turning point in the battle, but the war for Earth was far from over. As Admiral Sarah Harper stood on the bridge of the horizon, overseeing the detention of Karlak and his high command, alerts blared across the ship's systems. Multiple hyperspace signatures detected. The sensor officer called out, his voice tense. It's another Zarkon fleet, much larger than the first. Sarah's heart sank. They had won the battle, but the Zarkon Empire wasn't about to let go of Earth so easily. How many? She asked, dreading the answer. At least 3 times the size of the original invasion force. Admiral, Elena responded, her cybernetic eye whirring as it processed the data. They'll be here within the hour. Sarah took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. Send word to Earth. All reserves are to be mobilized. And get me a secure line to the UN Security Council. We need to decide what to do with our guests. In the holding cell aboard the Horizon, Sarlacc seethed with a mixture of rage and disbelief. How had these primitives bested him? As the ship shuddered with preparations for the coming battle, a human guard approached his cell. On your feet, the guard ordered. The Admiral wants to speak with you. Moments later, Sarlacc found himself face to face with Sarah Harper. Her expression was grim, but there was a fire in her eyes that made even the battle-hardened Zarkon commander uneasy. Another fleet is coming, Sarah stated without preamble. Your people seem determined to take our world, no matter the cost. Sarlacc's mouth twisted into what passed for a smile among his species. The Zarkon Empire does not suffer defeat, human. What you've seen is but a fraction of our might. Surrender now, and perhaps your species will be allowed to survive as servants. Sarah leaned in close, her voice low and dangerous. Let me be clear, Sarlacc. We will never surrender, but I'm giving you a chance to end this. Contact your fleet. Tell them to turn back, or we'll be forced to show you just how creative humans can be when our backs are against the wall. Sarlacc laughed. A harsh, grating sound. You've expended your surprises, human. What could you possibly have left? Sarah straightened, her face an unreadable mask. That's your final answer. So be it. As she left the holding area, Elena fell into step beside her. He didn't bite. Elena observed. Are we really going to? Sarah nodded grimly. Alert the UN. It's time to activate the Lazarus Protocol. Around the world, hidden facilities hummed to life. In the depths of the Mariana Trench, beneath the ice of Antarctica, and in secret bunkers under every major city, humanity's last-ditch defense plan initiated. The incoming Zarkon fleet dropped out of hyperspace, their weapons primed and ready to avenge their comrades' defeat. But as they moved to engage Earth's battered defenses, something unprecedented happened. The planet itself seemed to come alive. Massive structures rose from the oceans, their strange, organic forms defying easy classification. From the polar ice caps, enormous cannons emerged, their barrels the size of mountains. The ground split open in dozens of locations, revealing launch bays filled with ships of clearly alien design. On the bridge of the Zarkon command ship, the new fleet admiral watched in stunned disbelief. Impossible, he breathed. These defenses, their precursor technology. The precursors were a mystery, an ancient race that had vanished months ago, leaving behind artifacts of unimaginable power. The Zarkon Empire had built much of its might on scavenged precursor tech, but this was beyond anything they had ever encountered. As the Zarkon fleet scrambled to regroup, The Earth unleashed its full fury. Beams of energy that seemed to bend the fabric of space-time lashed out from the oceanic structures, cutting swaths through the Zarkon Armada. Swarms of automated drones, guided by AIs that made the Zarkon computers look primitive, overwhelmed their fighter screens. And from the surface rose Earth's reserves, ships that melded human ingenuity, reverse-engineered Zarkon tech, and now, the awe-inspiring power of precursor artifacts. Sarah Harper, now coordinating the defense from a hidden command center deep beneath the UN building in New York, allowed herself a small smile. The Lazarus Protocol, Earth's ultimate insurance policy, was working. Decades ago, a team of human archaeologists had stumbled upon a precursor installation buried deep beneath the Earth's crust. In secret, the nations of the world had come together, pooling their resources to study and adapt this incredible find. When the Zarkon arrived, this project had accelerated, incorporating the new insights gained from alien technology. The result was a defensive system beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. As the battle raged in orbit, and the skies above Earth, Elena worked furiously at her station, coordinating the deployment of their new assets. "Sarah," she called out, excitement in her voice, "I'm detecting quantum fluctuations in the Zarkon fleet. I think we can disrupt their entire command and control system." Sarah nodded. "Do it." With a few keystrokes, Elena activated a precursor device that Earth's scientists still didn't fully understand. A wave of quantum energy washed over the Zarkon fleet. Ships suddenly lost power. Their systems scrambled beyond recovery. Communication between vessels became impossible. What had been a coordinated assault devolved into chaos. Seizing the moment, Sarah opened a channel to all Earth forces. "This is Admiral Harper. Push them back." For Earth. Earth's defenders surged forward, their weapons blazing. Zarkon ships, mighty dreadnoughts that had terrorized countless worlds, fell one by one to the combined might of human determination and precursor technology. In the holding cell aboard the Horizon, Sarlacc watched the battle unfold on a small view screen, his facial tentacles twitching in disbelief. These humans, these beings he had dismissed as primitives, were wielding power that the Zarkon had only dreamed of controlling. As the last Zarkon ship pulled into hyperspace, a ragged cheer went up across Earth's communications channels. Against all odds, they had done it. They had defended their home against the greatest threat humanity had ever faced. But in the command center, Sarah and Elena exchanged worried looks. They had revealed their greatest secret to the galaxy. The Zarkon now knew that Earth possessed precursor technology beyond anything they had encountered before. "They'll be back," Sarah said quietly. "And next time, they'll bring everything they have." Elena nodded, her expression determined. "Then we'll be ready. And maybe it's time we took the fight to them." As celebrations erupted around the world, the leaders of Earth came together to plan their next move. The Zarkon threat had been pushed back, but not eliminated. Humanity had proven itself on the galactic stage, but the real challenge was just beginning. The battle for Earth was over. The war for the galaxy was about to begin. Counterattack. The mood in the United Earth Defense Council chamber was tense. Holographic displays showed the extent of the damage from the Zarkon attacks. Cities in ruins, millions displaced, and the scars of orbital bombardment visible from space. But amid the destruction, there was a palpable sense of determination. Admiral Sarah Harper stood before the assembled leaders of Earth, her uniform crisp despite the exhaustion evident in her eyes. "The Zarkon will return," she began, her voice steady. "We've bloodied their nose, but an empire spanning thousands of worlds won't be deterred for long. We need to take the fight to them." Murmurs of surprise and concern rippled through the chamber. The Secretary General leaned forward, his brow furrowed. "You're proposing an offensive beyond our solar system." "Admiral, we barely survived the invasion." Dr. Elena Sato stepped up, her cybernetic eye glowing softly as she activated a holographic display of the galaxy. With respect, Mr. Secretary General, we have advantages the Zarkon aren't expecting. The precursor technology we've integrated into our defenses, it's not just defensive in nature. The display zoomed in on a section of the galaxy, highlighting several star systems in Zarkon territory. We've detected quantum resonance signatures consistent with other precursor artifacts. If we can locate and secure these, we can potentially turn the tide of the war. The council chamber erupted into heated debate. The risks were enormous, but the potential payoff was too great to ignore. After hours of discussion, a decision was reached. Earth would go on the offensive. Over the next few weeks, a fleet was assembled. The Horizon, now refitted with the latest precursor-derived technology, would lead the expedition. Alongside it were a dozen other ships, each a marvel of human engineering and alien tech. As the crew made final preparations, Sarah found Elena in one of the Horizon's labs, poring over data on a holographic display. "You should be resting," Sarah admonished gently. "We launch in 12 hours. Elena smiled wryly, gesturing at the display. "Sleep can wait. I think I've found something big." She manipulated the hologram, zooming in on a star system near the edge of Zarkon space. This system, HD 145,675. It's giving off energy readings unlike anything we've seen. If I'm right, it could be a precursor manufacturing facility. Sarah's eyes widened. The kind of place that could produce more of the tech we use to defend Earth. Elena nodded, excitement clear in her voice. Potentially even more advanced. But Sarah, it's deep in Zarkon territory. Getting there won't be easy. "Nothing worth doing ever is," Sarah replied, a determined glint in her eye. "Get some rest, Elena. We got a long journey ahead." As the Earth fleet prepared to depart, a message was broadcast worldwide. The Secretary General's face appeared on screens across the globe. "Citizens of Earth, the time has come for humanity to venture beyond our solar system, not in peace, as we had hoped, but in defense of our very existence. Our brave men and women go forth not as conquerors, but as liberators. For we have learned that the Zarkon Empire holds many worlds in subjugation. As we fight for our freedom, we shall offer the same hope to others. Go forth, our heroes, and know that all of Earth stands with you." With a flash of energy, the Earth fleet engaged their precursor-derived drive systems and vanished into the depths of space. Their first target was a Zarkon outpost in a system just beyond the edge of Earth's solar system. The battle was swift and decisive. The Zarkon, still reeling from their defeat at Earth and unprepared for humans to go on the offensive, were overwhelmed. As Sarah led a team to secure the outpost's command center, they made an unexpected discovery. In a holding area, they found prisoners, aliens of various species, all subjugated by the Zarkon Empire. A tall, avian being stepped forward, its feathers shimmering with an iridescent sheen. You are not Zarkon," it said, its translator struggling with the unfamiliar language. "Who are you?" Sarah removed her helmet, offering what she hoped was a reassuring smile. "We're humans, from Earth. We're here to fight the Zarkon, and apparently, to free you as well." The alien's eyes widened. "The Zarkon said they had found a new world to conquer. We feared you had already fallen." "Oh, they tried," Sarah replied, unable to keep a note of pride from her voice. "They failed." Over the next few hours, as the former prisoners were treated and debriefed, Sarah and her team learned much about the state of the galaxy. The Zarkon Empire, it seemed, was not as universally feared as they had believed. Many worlds chafed under their rule, and resistance movements simmered on countless planets. "This changes things," Sarah mused, conferring with Elena and her other advisors. "We're not just fighting for Earth anymore. We could be the spark that ignites a galactic revolution." Elena nodded, her mind racing with the possibilities. If we can form alliances with these other species, combine our knowledge of precursor tech with their understanding of Zarkon weaknesses, We might just have a real shot at winning this war, Sarah finished. The next few months saw the Earth fleet pushing deeper into Zarkon space. With each victory, they liberated more worlds and gained more allies. The Avian Aerie, with their unparalleled skills in astrogation. The silicon-based crystallines, whose natural affinity for technology made them invaluable in understanding and improving upon precursor artifacts. The enigmatic mistweavers, beings of pure energy whose ability to infiltrate and disrupt Zarkon systems proved crucial in many battles. But it wasn't until they reached HE 145,675 that the true turning point came. The system was indeed home to a precursor facility, one that dwarfed anything they had discovered on Earth. As Elena led a team to explore its vast halls, Sarah coordinated the fleet's defense against waves of Zarkon attackers desperate to prevent humans from accessing the facility's secrets. Sarah, Elena's excited voice crackled over the comm. You're not going to believe this. This isn't just a manufacturing plant. It's a seed ship, a vessel designed to create and populate entire worlds. Before Sarah could respond, alarms blared across the fleet. Massive hyperspace signatures detected. The sensor officer called out. It's the Zarkon home fleet. They're here in force. Sarah's jaw set in grim determination. This was it, the moment that would decide the fate not just of humanity, but of every species that had dared to dream of freedom from Zarkon oppression. All ships, battle formations, she commanded, her voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. Elena, whatever you found in there, I hope it's something we can use, because we're about to face the fight of our lives. As the largest Zarkon fleet ever assembled bore down on the human-led alliance, the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. The true test of humanity's resolve, ingenuity, and newfound alliance was about to begin. A new galactic order. The space around HD 145,675 erupted into chaos as the Zarkon home fleet engaged the human-led alliance. Energy weapons lanced across the void, while swarms of fighter craft danced deadly ballets between capital ships. At the heart of it all, the precursor facility pulsed with untapped power. On the bridge of the horizon, Admiral Sarah Harper barked orders, coordinating the defense with a mixture of tactical brilliance and desperate improvisation. Aerie Squadron, flank their dreadnoughts. Crystalline ships, reinforce our port defenses. But even as their allies fought with incredible valor, the sheer numbers of the Zarkon fleet were overwhelming. Ships from a dozen liberated worlds fell to the Empire's onslaught. Admiral, Elena's voice crackled over the comm, tinged with both excitement and fear. We've activated something in the facility. I think it's some kind of mass teleportation device. Sarah's mind raced. A way to transport large numbers of ships or personnel instantly across vast distances. That could turn the tide of not just this battle, but the entire war. Can you get it working? Sarah asked, ducking as a nearby explosion rocked the horizon. Yes, but Elena hesitated. Sarah, it's not just a teleporter. This device, it can move entire star systems. If we activate it at full power, there's no telling what it might do to local space-time. Sarah closed her eyes for a brief moment. The weight of the decision pressed down on her like a physical force. Use an incomprehensible alien device that could rip apart the fabric of space-time, or face certain defeat at the hands of the Zarkon. In the end, it wasn't really a choice at all. Do it, Sarah commanded. Full power. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, reality itself appeared to hiccup. Stars blinked out and reappeared in different positions. Entire fleets, both Alliance and Zarkon, vanished and rematerialized in a vast sphere around the precursor facility. In the confusion that followed, Sarah seized the initiative. All ships, concentrate fire on the Zarkon flagship. The Alliance fleet, now finding enemies where allies had been moments before and vice versa, reacted with the adaptability that had become their hallmark. Zarkon ships, their rigid command structure thrown into chaos by the sudden rearrangement of the battlefield, fell one by one to the more flexible Alliance forces. As the tide of battle turned, a transmission cut across all frequencies. On screens throughout both fleets appeared the face of the Zarkon Emperor himself, his tendrils writhing in fury. "Enough," the Emperor roared. "You primitive species think you can challenge the might of the Zarkon. We, who have ruled the stars for millennia. We will reduce your worlds to ash, hunt down every last one of you." The transmission cut off abruptly as the Zarkon flagship erupted in a cataclysmic explosion. In the silence that followed, Sarah opened a channel to the remaining Zarkon fleet. "This is Admiral Sarah Harper of Earth," she announced, her voice carrying across the battlefield. "Your Emperor is dead. Your fleet is in ruins. But it doesn't have to end in more bloodshed. Surrender now, and we offer you the same choice we've extended to all we've liberated. Join us in building a free galaxy, or return to your homeworld in peace." For several tense minutes, there was no response. Then, one by one, Zarkon ships began powering down their weapons. The great battle was over. In the days that followed, representatives from Earth, their alien allies, and even some former Zarkon worlds gathered in the vast halls of the precursor facility. The Galactic Concordat was born, a new alliance dedicated to mutual defense, scientific advancement, and the principles of liberty for all sentient beings. Sarah found Alina in one of the facility's laboratories, poring over data with a team of human and alien scientists. "How bad is it?" Sarah asked, nodding toward the displays showing the aftermath of the teleportation device's activation. Alina sighed, running a hand through her hair. "We're still assessing the damage. The good news is, inhabited systems seem to have been largely unaffected. But we've detected significant spatial distortions in several uninhabited sectors. It's opened up new regions of the galaxy for exploration. But also, Sarah, we think we might have created links to other galaxies, possibly even other dimensions." Sarah let out a low whistle. "So we've won the war, but opened up a whole new frontier of potential threats and discoveries." "That's one way of putting it," Alina replied with a wry smile. As they looked out over the assembled representatives of the new Galactic Concordat, Sarah felt a mixture of pride, hope, and trepidation. Humanity had come so far in such a short time, from a single world under threat of conquest to a key player in a galactic alliance. But with new power came new responsibilities, and the universe they were discovering was vaster and more complex than they had ever imagined. "You know," Sarah mused, "when I joined the military, I never thought I'd end up as some kind of galactic peacekeeper." Alina chuckled. "If it makes you feel any better, I never thought I'd be unlocking the secrets of ancient alien superweapons. I was happy studying radio signals from space." Their moment of levity was interrupted by an aide. "Admiral, Doctor, your presence is requested in the main chamber. The Concordat is ready to vote on its first resolution." As they made their way to the chamber, Sarah and Alina exchanged a look. Whatever challenges lay ahead, humanity would face them not alone, but as part of something greater. They had surprised the galaxy with their resilience, ingenuity, and determination. Now, they would help shape its future. In the Grand Chamber, representatives of 100 worlds waited. As Sarah and Alina took their places, the newly elected Concordat chair, a statuesque Aerie, spread her wings for silence. "Delegates of the Galactic Concordat," she began, her translator conveying the musical quality of her native speech. "We gather here to vote on our first resolution, the establishment of an exploration initiative to investigate the spatial anomalies created by the precursor device. We stand on the brink of a new era of discovery. Who knows what wonders or dangers await us in the depths of space?" As the vote commenced, Sarah leaned over to Alina. "You know," she whispered, "I have a feeling our adventures are just beginning." Alina grinned, her cybernetic eye gleaming with excitement. Wouldn't have it any other way. The resolution passed unanimously. As cheers erupted throughout the chamber, The assembled delegates of the Galactic Concordat looked to the stars with a mixture of hope and determination. The galaxy had been reshaped, ancient powers awakened, and new alliances forged in the crucible of war. And at the heart of it all stood humanity, no longer the newcomers, no longer the underdogs, but equal partners in a grand cosmic adventure. The Zarkon had sought to conquer Earth, never imagining that their actions would spark a revolution that would reshape the very face of the galaxy. As the celebration continued around them, Sarah and Elena shared a quiet moment, gazing out at the star-studded vastness of space. Whatever the future held, they knew one thing for certain. Humanity was ready for it, the end, and a new beginning.